Hello and welcome. In this introductory video I'll check out how we can create dimensions in Mastercam. Now on the screen is one of the Cam Instructor Mill lessons, and what I'll be doing in this video is dimensioning the part. Now in subsequent videos we'll drill down deeper into the functionality of dimensioning, so let's get started. First up, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to move on down to the lower part of the screen, and on the status bar I'm going to click on System Color. And what I'm going to do is select this magenta color, color number 172. I'm going to click on OK. Now next up, what I'm going to do is create a new level to create the dimensions on. This will allow me to hide the dimensions created on this level at a later date. I'm going to click in the window just to the right of the Levels button on the status bar. And what I'm going to do now is type in 101 colon and then dims and then hit enter. Now this creates level number 101 and names it dims. What I'm going to do is open up the levels manager to show what levels we now have. Now the part geometry is on level 1 and the dimensions we're about to create will be on level 101 dims. Looks good. Going to click on OK. Now Alt-Z on your keyboard is the shortcut to get back into the Levels Manager. Now let's get down to some dimensioning now. Going to move into Create, Drafting, Dimension. Now before I start dimension, what I'm going to do is move into Drafting Options, and as you can see the shortcut is Alt-D on your keyboard. Now within drafting options is a set of parameters that determine how drafting entities appear and function in the graphics window. Now Mastercam provides default drafting parameters that you can modify to meet your drafting requirements. The drafting options dialog box consists of 5 property pages that give you access to groups of related default values and settings. What I'm going to do is change the decimal places for the dimensions to 2 decimal places. What I'm going to do is select Dimension Attributes and then just slide over to the right decimal places. It's set to 3. I'm going to change it to 2. Now just down below, leading zeros, the check mark, I'm going to deactivate leading zeros. Now there is a preview of the dimension style in the top right corner of this dialog box. Now when you change a setting on a page, a check mark appears in front of its name so you can track where you have made changes during an editing session. Now next up, what I'm going to do is click on Dimension Text, and what I'm going to do is change the text height. It's presently set to 0.25. I'm going to change it 0.1875. Looks good. Now I'm also going to slide over to the left, going to click on Note Text, and I'm also going to change the text height for notes here. It's set to 1/4 inch. I'm going to change it to 0.1875. Looks good. Now everything's looking good here. Going to click on OK. Now next up, going to click Alt-G on my keyboard to open up the grid parameters page. Now the only thing that I'm going to do here is ensure there's a check mark against active grid, which there is. I'm over on the left here, going to leave the spacing at 1/4 inch, and I'm going to make the grid invisible. As you can see, it's not activated. Looks good. Now what I'm going to do is use the snap points to force the placement of the dimension text position, and then all my dimensions can be evenly spaced. This will make the dimensions nice and neat. So I'm going to click on OK. Now first I'm just going to move on up to the top of the screen. I'm going to do an unzoom 0.8. Let's get back into Create, Drafting, Dimension, and I'm going to click the number 1 on the list here, Horizontal. Now the ribbon bar appears, but none of the options are active yet, and I'm prompted to specify the first endpoint. So what I'm going to do is move on down, and for this first prompt I'm going to move on up and there's my visual cue for endpoint. I'm going to pick this point, I'm going to slide over to the right, there's another visual cue for endpoint, I'm going to pick it, and then I'm going to place this dimension down here. Now as I move it up and down, what it's doing is snapping to those invisible grid points. So I'm going to pick this position here. Looks good. Now notice up on the ribbon bar, now everything is live, so it's looking good. What I'm going to do now is create a few more horizontal dimensions. I'm going to pick this point, I'm going to slide on over to the right as my visual cue, I'm going to pick this point, and I'm going to place the dimension down here. Looks good. Once again, I'm going to pick this point, I'm going to slide over to the right, I'm going to pick that point there, and then the dimension, I can move it over here, I'm moving my mouse over to the left, I'm going to position this dimension right here. Looks good. Now next up, what I'm going to do is just zoom in on this lower left corner, and what I'm going to do now is create the vertical dimension from the base of the part to the center of this arc. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to pick this point, there's my visual cue for endpoint, I'm going to slide on up, and there's my visual cue that allows me to snap to the center of this arc. I'm going to pick this point. Now I'm in horizontal, but what I'm going to do is move on up on the ribbon bar, and I'm going to click on vertical to change it from a horizontal to vertical dimension. And I'm going to place my dimension there. Looks good. I'm just going to move on up and do a display fit. I'm just going to slide over to the right and unzoom 0.8. I'm going to do it one more time. Got another horizontal dimension to put on. I'm going to pick a point here. There's my visual cue for endpoint. I'm just going to slide over to the right. I'm going to pick that quadrant point just there. And I'm going to place the dimension up there. Looks good. Now I'm going to slide over to the right, going to click on OK, and I'm going to do a display fit. So it looks good. Let's go back into create, drafting, dimension, and this time I'm going to pick vertical. What I'm going to do now is create a series of vertical dimensions. Going to start over here on the left, and for the first point I'm going to pick this end point. I'm going to pick this point on this circle. Now to place the dimension, just going to slide on over and pick this point here. Looks good. Next dimension, going to pick this point. Going to move on up, and there's my visual cue for the center of that circle. Going to pick this point, and for the placement, I'm going to pick a point there. Now what I'd like to do though is the dimension text, I'd like it centered on the dimension line. So look, if I move up to the ribbon bar, starting on the left, I can adjust the witness lines. Just sliding over to the right, I can click on this button, and that centers my text. Looks good. Looks great. Moving up, going to dimension this chamfer. Going to pick this point and this point over here, and then just slide it over. Looks good. I'm done here. Going to slide over to the right and click on OK. Next up, I'm going to zoom in on the chamfer, and let's create the angle dimension for the chamfer. So I'm going to go into create, drafting, dimension, and then halfway down going to select angular. Now I'm prompted to select a line or the pivot point. Now what I'm going to do is hold the Alt key down to disable these visual cues that are showing up. So I'm holding the Alt key down, and what I'm going to do is pick this line, this vertical line, and that angled line, and I'm just going to place the dimension. I'm going to place the dimension there. Looks good. Now what I'd like to do next is change this 45.00 to just a plain old 45 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is up on the ribbon bar in the middle, I'm going to click on number, and I'm just going to move this down. So enter the number of significant digits. I'm going to put in 0 and then hit enter. Now over on the left side of the ribbon bar, I'm going to click on arrows, and that puts the arrows on the outside. I'm going to click back in again. So it looks good. So over on the right hand side, I'm going to click on exit. I'm going to do a display fit. Next up, we're going to create some diameter and radius dimensions. So once again, back into create, drafting, dimension, and I'm going to click on circular. Now first up, what I'm going to do is just going to slide this over to the left. I'm going to pick this large circle. I'm going to move up, and as you can see, as I move it around, it adopts different dimension styles. I'm going to click this position here. Now let me demonstrate some of the shortcut keys available to us. So on my keyboard, I'm going to type in R, and that changes that to a radius dimension. I'm going to click on D, and that takes it back to a diameter dimension. Next up, I'm going to click the A on my keyboard, and as you can see, that adjusts the arrow position. And I'm going to leave the arrows on the outside of the circle. I'm reversing the arrow position. Next up, I'm going to dimension this fillet. I'm going to select this circle and then position it over here. Now what I'd like to do is change the decimal places of this radius dimension. I'm going to change it to 3 decimal places. So up on the ribbon bar, I'm going to click on number, and it's set to 2. I'm going to change it to 3 decimal places. Now it reads radius 0.125. Now in the lower right corner, I've got a fillet down there. I'm going to dimension that next, and I'm going to position it over here. Now what I'd like to do is change the text. So what I'm going to do is move on up to the ribbon bar, and I'm going to click on the icon adjust text. Now what I'm going to do is enter a space, left bracket, and I'm going to change this to radius 0.25, 2 places. Going to click on OK. And once again, if I hit A on my keyboard, that's changing my arrow positions. I'm going to leave it like that. Looks good. So everything looks good here. Over on the right hand side, I'm going to click on OK. Next up, I'm going to add a note. So I'm going to go into create, drafting, and halfway down, I'm going to select note. Now what I'd like to do is I'm going to activate label with single leader. In the white space, I'm going to enter my note, 0.25 thick. I'm done here. Going to click on OK. Now I'm prompted to indicate the leader arrow position, and what I'm going to do is move on over here, and I'm going to select that position there. Looks good. I'm going to go back into create, drafting again, dimension, and there's another vertical dimension I'd like to put on. I'm going to pick this point as my visual cue for endpoint. I'm going to move on up, pick that point, and then to place a dimension, this 3-inch vertical dimension, I'm going to pick a position here. Looks good. I'm going to click on OK. Let's do a display fit, and there's our part dimension. Looks great. Now that completes this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see